the camera around, I would, so you guys could see her. But you're sweet. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I did this. I guess I'll give you guys some background on it, how it all came about. I did this interview when I very first started vibing with Lisa, and I was interviewing all different people with all different things happening in their lives. And this person I just thought was super interesting. If you remember at one time in the interview, I asked him, I said, what brings you joy in your life? And he said, nothing. And like, he was 1,000,000% serious, like looked me dead in the eye and was like, nothing. And at the time I turned to my boyfriend and I was like, this is your best friend. This is somebody that you're close to. I'm like, he's super negative. And it just would play in my head that I didn't understand how you could be that way, how nothing makes you happy. And then fast forward, I had been around him when he met this other girl, and who I talked about it in the interview, and he was happy. There was joy on his face all the time when they were together. And I truly believe, like, I didn't know his wife. I didn't know much about their relationship, but I saw how happy he was with this girl. And I knew there was talk of him leaving. I saw the apartment that he got. She was ready. And then it just never came to fruition. So I knew when they broke up, and we had talked a little bit about it. So I wanted to do this interview to kind of get in depth with him, like where his head was at, because more and more people I talk to, the more people have been touched with infidelity. Either they've been the one that have cheated, they're the ones that have been cheated on, they know people going through it. And it's tough. And I think his hardest part about doing the interview was he felt like there was a lot of judgment coming at him. And from my end, there's no judgment at all. I don't think any of us have the right to judge another human being. We're not in another person's shoes. We don't walk their walk. We don't wake up every day in their body and soul. So we have no right. But if it can enlighten and help someone else, then that's what I want to come from this. This is really why I want this discussion to come about. I've always said I'll be completely real with anyone, especially my people, my group here, this tribe. The only way that I can help people is to give from my experience and be as open and honest as I can. So with that being said, yes, I have been on both sides of it. That is truly why there can't be any judgment. So when I was younger, I was very like black and white. Like if you cheated, it was done, it was over. There's no conversation, there's no nothing. I was very jaded. No, I wasn't jaded. I guess I was really naive. And I didn't have a lot of experience with them when I was younger. So that's kind of where, if I saw things on television, I was like, no way, you can't forgive somebody. There's just no reason there. Anybody would cheat, blah, 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 blah. And as life goes on, you realize that relationships are hard. I think we've had that pretty much in every hashtag. Relationships are hard. And a lot of times we're not given a guidebook. I remember when I was, when I first had my children, there's no really a book that says this is the way to be the perfect parent, because you can't be the perfect parent. And it's the same way with being a partner. There's no way to be the perfect partner because you're changing, you're growing. You don't know how to express yourself in certain ways. You don't know how to get those feelings across to someone because you're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of their reaction to it. You don't know, I had said to a friend of mine once, I'm like, you want to tell your person about something that you want to do sexually, and you have no idea how they're going to take that. Are they going to think you're nuts? Are they going to be all excited about it? And it's like that with a bunch of other things in the relationship. It's like, hi, KK, hi, Darlene. It's those things happen in every relationship. It's like, my fear is, what if they don't get it? What if they don't love me anymore? What if they don't care about me anymore? What if they want to walk away? So then we just kind of shut down and don't say what it is that we really need from the relationship. So I think that may have been part of what was happening way back when. For this person in the interview, I don't know, should I tell them the follow-up already, or should we wait till the end? So I did talk to him. I let him know that we were going to be doing this discussion, and like I said in the beginning, his biggest fear was that people were going to think he was a scumbag. And again, who the heck are we to judge? I don't know that anybody's perfect out there. And if you are, by all means, please send me all of your information, because I'd love nothing more than to be perfect. But I just don't think it's probable, or possible. So I told them, it's your marriage, and I think people want to know what's happening now. Hi, Chris. And he told me they're still married. He doesn't have any more relationships like that girl, that mistress. I hate that word. And we were talking about the other day, there's no word for the guy. I don't understand. Why he's not a mister, but there's only a label for the girl, for the woman. But anyway, I digress many times. Hi, Joe. Hi, Grace. Thank you guys for being here. So anyway, he said that he doesn't have any more serious relationships like that. He still has the occasional hooker and one night stands. I think he's been married, I think it's 10 years now. And doesn't sound very happy. He told me that he hates it right now. But he loves her. Like, there's no doubt about it that he loves this woman. But I think if you guys, hi Louise, if you guys listened in the interview, he said, I'm going down with the ship. Ugh. I mean, that's kind of, I feel bad for her. That makes my heart hurt for the wife. Because you're staying with her because, why? Hi, Jeanette. Because you're head over heels in love with her, or you love her and care about her. Danielle and I were talking about this the other day. In relationships, especially in marriage, we go through so many different facets. In the beginning, it's all butterflies and roses and it's all exciting and you can't wait to be with this person. And then it gets a little more into a comfort zone, but you're still like on your toes. You still want to impress the person. You still want to make them happy. And then sometimes kids enter the relationship, and that definitely puts a different twist, because now your focus is your children. And there's only, you spread yourself thin. You have a job, you have children, you have commitments through their school. How involved are you in their activities? What else is going on? Are you guys going on date nights? Are you guys doing other activities that are just couple related? I think that was probably my biggest fault in my marriage, is I became so obsessed with my children and wanting to be a great mom that I forgot that I needed to be a great partner. And I think that happens to, hi Else. I think that happens to a lot of couples. It's just life. Life gets involved and you forget that your priority should be your partner. And we should always be trying to work on that. Whether that means therapy, whether that means just saying, hey, I need some attention. Hey, I need you to pay attention to me. Hey, I just need us time. Whatever it is. But being able to say that to your partner is important, because they're not a mind reader. You may think they know you inside and out, but they don't, because you're changing all the time. Else, you're so sweet. Thank you. Hi, Matt. We're changing all the time. So our needs and who we are as a person changes. I was 23 when I got married. I met my ex-husband at 19. 19 to 23, like I thought I was such a grown up. He didn't even want to go out with me when I was 19 because I wasn't legal. And he was 7 years older than me. He was at such a different place in his life. And then, you know, now I'm 23 and I get married. I'm 27 when I have children. The difference between Lisa at 19, 23, 27, 37, and now is, you can't even see how big of a difference. Hi Joe, things that I would never think to say in my 20s or 30s, I say without hesitation now. Like, I'm going to own what it is that I need that makes me happy. My ex-boyfriend, the last time we were going through our umpteenth breakup, and at one point he said, "You're so needy." And I was like, really? Because I don't think that's really the word you want to use. And I think it's sometimes we don't know how to express what it is we're looking for, what we need, or how to give it to somebody. And I also think people, what's that word? Deflect. So when you don't want the attention on you, you make it about the other person. And now I know that. When I was 23 or 33, I wouldn't have even said it. I wouldn't have even said like, hey, I need some Lisa time. Like, I need you and I time. And that's important in a relationship. When I was 33, I wouldn't have even known that there are all different kinds of things that happen in relationships. So, and I don't want to say this is because of Vegas, but since I've been out here, I have been exposed to a lot of different types of relationships. So hi, Zach. So there are open relationships or open marriages. There are thruples. There are, people who their spouse is having extracurricular activities and they're okay with it. That's kind of on the lines of open. But there's just all kinds, and it takes all kinds. And again, there is no judgment. Whatever works for you in your relationship works for you and your partner. I think that was my biggest takeaway from all of this is if that wife who knows very well and good that he's cheating, that he had this relationship, that he almost moved out, and if they were willing to forgive that, obviously they didn't have that conversation. You heard that in the interview. They never had that conversation, but he says he thinks she knows. He's pretty sure she knows. I know of another relationship where she 100% knew, 1,000,000% knew. I'll go to sleep. Thank you for coming in. It's late in Germany. Mwah, mwah. Thank you, honey. But yeah, so the wife 1,000,000% knew that it was happening and let him back in and just goes on and keeps sweeping it under the rug. And that's fine. If that's what works for you in your relationship, then you're the only one that gets up every day and says, this is my relationship. This is what I signed up for, until the day that you're not. And when you're not, hopefully you have the strength and you have the people around you to say, this isn't what I want anymore, and this is how I'm going to help you through it. And your partner is either going to say, okay, I'll give you what you need, or they won't. I think we just had this discussion earlier, getting ready for today. Danielle and I were talking, and a part of me feels like a lot of people sweep it under the rug or stay with their person out of convenience. And that's, again, that's okay. If that's what works for you, that's fine. Divorce is messy. 1,000,000%. I am still dealing with stuff years later from my divorce that I never would have thought I would have to deal with. Still dealing with the breakup from the boyfriend years ago that I didn't think I would be dealing with. So yeah, it sucks. It's hard. But at the end of the day, how do you want to live your life? And whatever way that is for you, and only you can be happy with it. So I kind of want to hear from you guys, like, what do you think? It's a consistent thing? Do you think, like, there's this saying, oh, once a cheater, always a cheater? I don't believe that at all. I believe that there's reasons that we cheat. Something's lacking in the relationship, something's lacking in communication, something's lacking in the bedroom. I don't know, but there's a reason. Like, nobody just cheats because they're an inherent cheater. I don't believe that. I might be wrong, and if somebody knows that I'm wrong, by all means, please tell me. Hi, Michael. I believe that there's something that the person is looking for, and that's why they cheat. Now, a habitual cheater, they're still not getting what they want, and they're willing to just keep going because it's working in that whatever that relationship is. This is the way it works for them. So they're getting whatever it is that they need on this other side. But I don't believe that once a cheater, always a cheater. I believe if you find that relationship that you are 100% committed to, and you're open about what it is that you need, then no, the conversations can keep going, and no, there wouldn't be a reason for you to cheat. I think things happen that people need an outside source. Again, there's all kinds of relationships, and sometimes a partner can't give a partner what they need, so they're okay with you going to get something else. I also think there's a difference in cheating. Like, are you emotionally cheating or are you sexually cheating? I remember when I was married, I thought, dear God, if he ever had sex with somebody else, I wouldn't really care. It wasn't, because to me that wasn't the connection. But if he went on a date with someone else, if he had a conversation with somebody else, if he gave that personal piece of him that was mine to somebody else, that is what I felt was cheating. And it also depended on the person. Like, what does sex mean to them? What does emotional connection mean to them? So flirting is dangerous, because I think that does kind of lead us in that direction if you're in a bad place. But I don't think there's anything wrong with someone like batting their eyes or having a conversation with somebody else and being like, hey. But I think there's a lot of borderlines, and it always comes down to, what does your partner think it is? If it was, okay, else, I want to kind of go into that. What do you mean if you joined him? Does that mean like participating in doing other things? Chris, did you think this was going to be a light conversation? I'm trying to make it as light and fun as I possibly can, but I want to help people and just kind of say where everything's been coming from. But Elsie, if you can kind of elaborate a little more for me, because I do know, like, there are people that say, oh, I did a threesome with my partner because, you know, he wanted to do a threesome and I wanted us to be closer. And a lot of couples do that. I think I actually had this conversation with some girlfriends of mine the other day. I think it's a territory that, if handled, and everybody knows, like, I'm not a therapist, I don't have any degrees, these are just my personal opinions and thoughts that have happened over the years from conversations I've had with people and my own relationships. So anyway, I think the threesome thing is very much healthy for relationships if it's what both partners are wanting. But I think there have to be ground rules. And I think that's where it gets really sticky. Can you look at that, Chris? Because I can't read that right this sec. So I think it gets really sticky. For me, if I were to do that, because I did have a conversation, this was something I wanted to give my partner, and we never got to that point because I could never handle if I ever saw him kissing somebody else. Like, again, the sex part, maybe not so hard, but the kissing part, no way. And I also didn't know, like, what happens if you're there in the moment and all of a sudden you freak out? Like, is he gonna be okay with that? Is it gonna be something that could be stopped? Like, there's so many discussions that have to go into being able to do it in order for it to be healthy, which kind of might take away the fun of it. It's also like, who are you doing this with? Is it somebody you know? Is it somebody you don't know? That was a huge issue for me. Like, there was no way I would ever want to be with somebody I know. Other people, super safe. That's the way they feel. So it was just something I couldn't get to. But I totally think that there are relationships that it helps. If that's something that's desired, it's a one-time thing, a fantasy, why not? Like, whatever works in your relationship. What was that? Chris says, my 2 cents, my ex ended our marriage because I was speaking with a woman. She couldn't forgive me for that. So, okay, Chris, but you were speaking with a woman, it was 8 months. Yeah, you're talking to a woman for 8 months. What are you talking about with that woman that you're not talking about to your wife? Did that sound judgy? Because I definitely did not mean that as judgy. I'm saying from her perspective, that's what I would be thinking. I'd be like, why are you spending time with this person? What is it that she's giving you that I'm not? For me, that's, I think, how a lot of it starts. Obviously, nobody just like jumps into bed with somebody. Well, do they? I don't know.
I think they
Do people just like, hey, you're hot, let me jump into bed with you? If they're not a hooker, I don't know. But I'm getting much more exposure to how the whole hooker things work. But yeah, I mean, Chris, if you're talking to somebody, it's time that you're not talking to your partner. Like for me, I was away a lot. If I'm traveling or I'm at the poker table or I'm traveling on a poker tournament, it's time away from my partner. And if they're not with me, now I'm talking to somebody else. So yeah, that's time that's away from that relationship. So I can understand it. I'm not knowing how else, like I'm assuming there's more to it than just that, the fact that she was talking. That's cheating to baby eyes, Chris. What? To baby eyes, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And Chris, how do you know that it was not going to be anything more than that? Like, you went from talking to somebody and now you're talking to them for 8 months. That's what, we don't know what takes us to that next level. That next level, sometimes, you know, things, I think most things start out innocently. I don't think anyone, I would hope no one purposely goes in to hurt their partner. I can't imagine a person that goes out maliciously knowing that they're going to hurt their partner. And I even say that to him in the interview. I'm like, aren't you ever thinking of her? And of course, in the moment, we're never thinking of our partner when we cross that line. And that's why when you start, there's always the potential of crossing that line. And what makes you go over? What makes you go to that side? Well, it's because you're still engaging with this person who's now giving you the attention that you aren't getting from your other person. And so now it's just, it becomes easier and easier and easier. Every time you spoke to that person, Chris, were you hiding? Or were you like, hey, honey, I'm going to go talk to this person? I'm assuming she didn't know. So now you're hiding, it's sneaking, now she's suspecting. There's all these layers that come to a point, and then someone says, I'm kind of over this. When you cheat on somebody, does it make you a bad person? I would love to know people's thoughts on that. because, I mean, I don't want it to be judgy because we're not judging. But I think I told you in the beginning, I used to always think black and white, you're a horrible human being, you don't care about your person. I think there are people that cheat that absolutely 100% love their spouse. Whether they're in love or not is where I think it becomes iffy. Because I think when you're in that in love state, you're so euphoric and you're still about making them happy. So there's not really kind of a way, there's not really that moment where you're giving to somebody else because you're still in the woohoo, you know, oh, I'm so happy with this person, I want to make this person so happy. I think when it becomes, I love this person because they're the father of my children, we've made or wife of my children, we've made this life together. Hi, Andrea. We've made this life together. We've been there for each other. They helped me through a sickness. Like all of these things, these are reasons we love this person. Does that mean we're still in love with this person? Does this person make us happy? Is this person fulfilling our needs? That's where I think people start, and I don't want to even say they go looking, because I don't think most people are actually looking to go cheat. I think it is because they're feeling neglected, they're feeling not valued, not desired. I think there's a big thing for women and men. Like, they want to feel desired by their partner. They want to feel that they still want them, no matter how long you've been married. And I think that's also how we can get, I don't know what that means, Chris. Unheard.
Feeling unheard in a relationship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. If you're trying to have that conversation and your partner is not helping you, that absolutely. I was in counseling for a long time, long time. And whether it means your partner maybe they can't give you what you need, I don't know, because I think that's kind of hard. But I'm sure there are partners that can't, right? Wouldn't you think? I don't know. I think if it's important, your person does whatever's necessary. Whatever it takes, that's my motto. And that's for life, that's for everything. Whatever it takes that's the only way to get it done. But if you don't, like if you were being crystal clear about what you wanted, what you needed, and they still can't give it to you, then yeah, I understand. That's why you're gonna seek it elsewhere. So I don't think a person is bad for cheating. I don't think they're mean. I don't think it's cut and dry. What else? Oh, talking is cheating. Matter. The point is, you know that I love something. Hey, Dars. I love something and it's important to me and it makes me happy. So for the fact that you know that means you are paying attention. For me, I love to do grand gestures for my person. Like I always want to find like the perfect thing that they haven't had. One of the things I always say to people is, if you could have anything in the entire world, no holds barred, what would it be? Or what would you be? Or what would you do? So I'm always trying to find things along those lines. But it's also about the little moments. Like if you're sitting on the couch and your person, some people are all about touch. And they need to be touched. There's that book, The 5 Languages of Love, I think, or 5 Love Languages. I think it is so important, and anyone who hasn't read it, by all means do, because we're all so different. I love to touch. I love like sitting on the couch and rubbing their head or scratching their back or their arms or whatever. I don't want somebody to scratch my head, but if I'm out or if I'm home, like I want them to hold my hand. I want them to put their arm around me. Like opening the door for me is huge. I never even realized that until like I dated someone a little bit, not too long ago. And he was always like, pulling out my chair and would get out of the car and run around to open my door. And I was like, wow, I really like this. So God bless you. So sometimes you don't even know things that you like until it happens. I have a friend of mine. She started dating this guy. He loves to cook. All he wants to do is cook for her. For me, if you cook for me, that's not really going to be a big deal because I don't care. Like M&Ms are fine. I'm not somebody who needs cooking, but a guy who really needs somebody to cook for them, I'm probably not their girl either. But it doesn't mean that you can't find other ways to make them happy. And you should find out what's important to that partner. So I think that is kind of how we get off on seeking attention, maybe affection. I think that's where we go off the tangent of looking for something else. It's not funny, but I've had a lot of people reach out after the little clips or they've listened to the interview. And again, it's happening way more than you think it's happening. And I think there are a lot of people that are completely in the dark. And someone had said to me, in one of the clips, I say, the girlfriend is the only one that's hurt right now. And someone got upset about it. I wasn't saying that she was the only one hurting. She was the only one that knew what was going on. Like at this point in the interview, we didn't know that the wife knew anything. So for her, she is in the dark, which to me breaks my heart. Of course I felt bad for her. I've been on both sides, as I've said, so I know what that feels like. You don't want to hurt anyone. This woman fell in love with this man. Are they bad people for that? Were they doing something malicious? No, I don't think you can control who you fall in love with. How they fell in love, because he was out there. The fact of him promising that he was going to leave, the fact that he took the steps to get an apartment for her and tell him he was leaving and that they were going to have this life together, that's probably the part I got most upset with him about, is because this woman thought this was all happening and she was preparing her life for it, and she thought the wheels were in motion with this wife. And the wife, whether or not she was in the dark or not, I don't know at that point. I know he said he started to get in fights with her, so she would kick him out. Like, he didn't want to take the responsibility of being the one to hurt her. And yet he still hurt this other woman. There's hurt no matter what. In a relationship, if somebody cheats, somebody's hurt. And the majority of it, everybody's hurt that's involved. I know people who have gotten through it. I've been exposed, they've told me their stories. Some people have been stronger for it. Some people, it's happened again. Some people, it's happened more than once again, and they're still together. So I don't know the answer to how you recover from it. Some people, it definitely has to be part of your nature of how forgiving you can be for it, and that you can forget it. Like, that's one thing I have learned, that if you are going to say, okay, we can get through this, you have to be able to let it go. You have to be able to not throw it in somebody's face anytime they piss you off. Hi, Patty Risha. You can't throw it in somebody's face when you're pissed off about something else. You can't constantly bring it up. You have to almost start anew. I don't know if anybody's heard that song, I Hope She Cheats. It's brilliant. And I think for people that have gone through it, no matter which side you've been on, you kind of, I shouldn't say other people. It's not nice to wish bad things on people, but yes, there's a part of us in human nature that if we're hurting, we want other people to hurt. We want them to feel what we've felt. We want them to go through what we've gone through. We don't want them to be happy. I just had this conversation with a friend of mine. And there's a part of us, it's like, wait a minute, they're not supposed to be able to go on and be happy and have this life. We want them to, be miserable that they're not with you. And there's a part where you just have to say, there's a reason that you're not together. I don't want to say you're better off, because I hate that. Like, I don't want to make someone seem like they're a bad person because they hurt me or I hurt them or whatever. But yeah, like, you want people to be missing you and wanting you and not to be happy. But in the song, I Hope She Cheats, it's very like, she does this whole like nice thing. And then at the end, she's like, I hope she does exactly to you what you did to me. So I get it. And I think that's the part that if you're going to be that way and try and make your relationship work, you can't just keep doing that. It's not going to help either of you. You have to be able to say, okay, we both made mistakes, because nobody cheats when the marriage is perfect or the relationship is perfect. And if somebody has an experience where your marriage or relationship was perfect and the person cheated on them, please tell me, because I've never encountered that. I just feel like somewhere along the line we're missing some communication. And that, again, is not anybody's fault. Like, I think sometimes we don't have those conversations out of fear. We don't know how the person's going to react. Bye, Chris. Thank you. Thanks for coming. We don't know how the person's going to react to what we say. Has anybody had that kind of situation where you've told your partner something you want, something that you need, and they couldn't give it to you, or they had a bad reaction to it, and you felt like they kind of backed off, or they judged? Maybe that's it. Like, maybe we're afraid of being judged for something. I know for me, that definitely happened. So I think I told you in the beginning, like, I was super naive when I first got married. I didn't know there was a lot of stuff out there. And that whole 50 Shades came into being, the book series, and I read that like nobody's business. And I knew someone who was involved in a dom sub relationship, so I would like text her and call her and be like, hey, does this really happen? Or hey, blah blah. She's like, what am I, your sex guru? But I didn't know any of this stuff existed, and my curiosity was piqued. So I didn't come right out and be like, hey, I want to try this. But I was kind of hinting, like, I've been reading this book. Maybe you should read this book. And like, then that hint wasn't taken. And then it was like, here, read the book. I actually said, and at one point he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. I was like, did you read it? And he was like, well, yeah, I read a little bit. And then it's kind of like, now I felt judged, and now I felt embarrassed. And if I have to tell you, it kind of defeats the purpose. But now, who I am, again, this is what I said earlier, being comfortable enough and being old enough and having enough experience to be able to say, I would have said, yeah, like, I think maybe we should try some stuff, or like, I need you to be more assertive or whatever. But I couldn't say that back then. But it's also on your partner to be aware, like, no, they're not a mind reader, but dig a little deeper, maybe ask some more questions, maybe, I don't know, read the book, like something. But it's a two-way street. A marriage, a relationship, a partnership, anything takes two people to make it work. So what else? Did anybody, I want to know, so like when Danielle first listened to the interview, she was so pissed. She's like, oh, this guy makes me so aggravated. Was anybody else feeling that from him? Were you angry with him? Did you feel like he is not a nice person. Did anybody feel empathy towards him? We can definitely talk about his, how did you feel about his wife? Like, I know for me in the beginning, I felt so bad for her, even when it was going on, because I knew she was like, I felt like she was in the dark, and I just felt like this woman deserves to know. But then after I kind of knew she knew, then it was like, it's not that I didn't feel bad for her, but it's kind of like, okay, maybe she's okay with this situation. Maybe she's not, like, whatever it is, but she knows. And now it's really only between the three of them, the two of them. I don't know. So I definitely want to hear anybody else's thoughts on, what do you think? Or even, has there been anybody who wound up with the other person? I do know people who that has happened, and we talked earlier about people once a cheater, always a cheater, and I don't believe that, because I have seen that. Hi, Dad. I have seen people wind up with the person that they cheated with and forever, ever happy. I also know someone who cheated on every relationship before they met somebody, and then they were together for 26 or 27 years, and the person never cheated because they were head over heels in love with that person. So, I've seen both sides. I want to know what you guys are thinking. What did the interview bring up in you? Had you ever been there before? Or do you have questions? I did do some follow-up with them. If you have questions for me, I can kind of give you whatever. Did I miss anything else in the chat with people?
Not in the chat, no.
Okay. I'm happy you guys are here. This is awesome. I hope you liked the interview. I don't know if you have all checked out the website. So, I guess this is a good time to talk about what Vibe Tribe is all about. It's about this kind of stuff. It's about a tribe of people, a group of people who are all there to share your ideas, share your thoughts, share your experiences. I think we all go through a lot of different things in life, and we're not the only ones. And the more you talk about it, the better it becomes. I've always said any problem can be solved with a conversation. You just have to be willing to have that conversation. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes the conversations are super hard. They're emotional, they're hurtful. We don't want to be the one to hurt someone, and we definitely don't want to be the person on the other side of being hurt. So a lot of times it's just easier to not have the conversation. But you have to be okay with that. If you don't have the conversation, the person's going to continue doing whatever it is that bugs you or doesn't help you. Angie always says, so my mom was the type of person who would pet your head and tell you everything's going to be okay. And it's all right, sweetheart, you're going to be fine. My mom was a very loving person. Oh, this is a question from Jess. Hold on. You did great in the interview. I would like the perspective of someone who has an affair that isn't a big partier and has some regrets. Do we?
I have someone like that.
Okay.
No, just me.
Oh, you? Okay. So can we tell your story, or you tell your story?
I think mine's unique because I used it for a purpose.
Okay. Can I turn it on you, the camera?
Right.
We're gonna Jess's question is, you did great, and thank you. I'd like the perspective of someone who has an affair that isn't a big partier and has some regrets. Actually, I think we can both talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is Danielle for everybody to see. Hang on. Are you on?
I am on.
Yay, that's Danielle. She does amazing help with me. And we've talked about this a lot lately. You and I have gone over our experiences, so go ahead and help Jess.
Well, I don't party, and I had 3 daughters at the time, and my husband and I really weren't getting along. In fact, I was actually sleeping with one of my daughters on a mattress next to her bed, and we just weren't connected. We were roommates, and he just turned into a different person, and I was definitely a different person because I was growing away from him. He started hunting more, fishing more. We weren't spending time together. He was figuring out his own hobbies, and I was becoming more of a mom and mom and mom, losing myself to that identity, which is fine. It's only for a short period of time, but I was lonely. I wanted to be wanted, and quite frankly, I didn't care if I hurt him. He was just a roommate, and it would get me to, he was very clingy. So, not clingy to me, clingy to the idea that he had won the life story of he was married, he had the kids, he had the house, he had the job. None of our names are in there because it was just he was ticking off the boxes of success. So the idea of me leaving him would have crushed that. Not that it was me. So I cheated on him, and I made it very obvious. He actually saw a message on my phone while I was feeding the kids, and he said, "So how's Ray?" And I said, "He's doing fine." And we talked after the kids went to bed, and I moved out that night. So I would do it again.
Okay, so you don't have regrets about it.
I don't. I mean, I feel bad that I hurt him, and now he has this massive crutch that he can use for the rest of his life that, oh, my evil ex-wife cheated on me and I'm so hurt. No, you're the wounded person that you'll always be. He just used me as an excuse. But, yeah, I feel guilty that I hurt someone that used to be my friend, and now I have to see him all the time. That's lovely. And meet his other girlfriend, his girlfriend who hates me because I hurt her man. That's weird. You think she'd be thankful because now she's got him, but now she's mad at me because I hurt him. Whatever. I'm just happy he's with someone. So that's my perspective.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how to do all this. Jess, I hope that helped. For me, did it answer your question? Jessica, sorry. I can give you my perspective. My biggest regret is that I hurt someone. And you don't think about that. You don't think about I never thought about the possibility that he would ever find out. That was never my intention. Actually, when I left, I did everything under the sun to prevent that from happening. I blamed myself. I blamed everything else. And then everyone else decided to take a whole new spin on it because I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want him to think that I had fallen in love with someone else. My biggest regret is that my world was turned upside down. I thought I could do well. My world was turned upside down, and now it's all for nothing. Like, I had fallen in love with this person. I thought they were supposed to be my forever person, and I'm not with them. So for me to have everything have turned upside down and to have hurt so many people that I love more than life itself, and I've begged for forgiveness. I've begged for to take that. You can't take that hurt away. So I've begged him to be my friend. I've begged him to forgive me. But the fact of the matter is, I can never take that away from him. I can never, no matter what I do, I can't take that pain away. Just like the person that hurt me can never take that pain away. It's always gonna suck. So yeah, that's my biggest regret, is hurting someone that I truly cared about, that I loved. I mean, I spent 25 years with that person. I would never, ever want to hurt them. And you don't realize all the residual effect. I lost an entire family of people who I thought would be there for me forever, and that I would be like I always thought I would still be the daughter-in-law, the sister-in-law, the sister-in-law, the cousin-in-law. I never thought those people weren't going to be in my life. I thought we would be doing holidays forever, because that's the way my life was. My mom's ex was always in my life, so we did spend holidays together. So I thought it would be like that. And for me, you know, I did all of this and hurt all of these people, and I didn't wind up with the happily ever after. Like, so, and there's a part of me, like the whole I just said about the I hope she cheats. There's a part of me that says, yeah, I'm sure my ex was singing that song to me, and the boyfriend's wife was singing that to me, and all of these things. So do I feel like it's karma? Do I feel like I deserve? I love you, Deb. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's karma, because again, none of us were malicious in it. None of us intentionally went to hurt anybody. But I do believe, like, I don't know, there's kind of, what's that? A little, like, yeah, I mean, I guess I deserve a little hurt, like, for sure. And believe me, it was, like, it's never easy from the beginning anyway. Like, no one who's been through it is like, oh, this is great. No, like, no one's going through that. Even like Danielle says about her person was a roommate at that point in her life. There's still, like, she's not sitting here going, yay me, like I did it. No, I don't think anybody does that. Although, like, maybe in abusive relationships, or in relationships where you feel you had no power, and like some women or men cheat as a power thing. Those people that, yeah, maybe they finally get up and they're like, I did this, I stood up for myself. Is it the way to do it? I don't know. I'm not in that relationship. And there's, you know, all different kinds of abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and who knows what those people have been through. So that kind of cheating, that kind of empowerment, I don't know enough about it, but I know it exists. So thanks for your question, Jess. Thanks for your question, Jessica. And no, I was not a partier, but I was away a lot. And it's the same thing like Danielle said. It all came about because I was going through empty nest syndrome. It was the connection. There wasn't really an us, because for so many years in my marriage, it was about making my kids happy, like being a good mom and being participating in their life. So the marriage and my ex-husband and I were not the priority to each other. As our relationship, I shouldn't say we weren't each other's priority. We were, and my life was very happy. It wasn't like I was miserable. He wasn't mean to me. He didn't just ignore me. It was, we drifted apart, and we couldn't, like, we were in counseling and I would constantly say, I need this. And he would say, I need this. And the counselor would say, go home and do this. And we'd go home and that never got done. So it's like, how many times can you keep saying, I need this, and it doesn't come to you? Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah, I mean, I think owning it, that's a big thing we've been talking about lately. You have to own it, no matter what, the good and the bad. I think we all make mistakes in this world. And again, anybody out there that's perfect, by all means, please send me your information, because trust me, I have had many people tell me, how wrong I was for this or wrong I was for that. And I didn't realize that they were perfect. And I didn't realize that relationships were based on you never making a mistake. In my opinion, if someone loves you and cares about you, there should be forgiveness. It doesn't mean you have to be best buds. It doesn't mean you have to make your marriage work. I just feel like I don't understand how you could have been so in love with someone and then just want to have nothing to do with them again. That's the part I don't get. I think that's the part I've had the biggest difficulty, hardest difficulty, through all of this in years. And my marriage has been years now, like my divorce has been years, and I still go through it. I still don't understand why, like, I get that it can be difficult to be around that person, but I don't understand how you can walk away. Although, I will say, I'm starting to realize that sometimes, and for some people, just cutting ties is the only way to prevent yourself from being hurt. And I've struggled with that a lot because for me, I'm somebody, I want to make it better. I want to make you happy. I still want to be your friend. Like for the longest time, I begged the ex-boyfriend, the ex-husband, the ex-family members. Like I was constantly, what can I do? What can I do? Please let me back in your life. And I just don't get that. I don't understand how you can just be like, I'm done. And I'm sure it's not that easy. Like, I'm sure they weren't like, okay, I'm just never going to think about Lisa again. But that's the way it feels. Who's confused about love and lust else? I'm only speaking for myself from the two relationships about being head over heels in love with someone. I know both of those relationships were absolutely love. Like that for me, like, yes, I'm sure there are people that had affairs that were just lust. Infatuation, absolutely. I don't think either of mine were that. Probably in the beginning. I guess it starts out that way. Sure, when you're starting an affair, when you're flirting with someone, it is lustful because you're like, ooh, this person's giving me something I don't have, and it's exciting, and getting to the point, like that's what we were talking about with Chris before. Like you're having this emotional connection with someone, and he said it didn't cross over to that physical, but there was something he was gaining from that relationship. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say there are people that cross that line out of lust because it's the excitement of it. But I don't think all relationships who cheat are out of lust. Again, it might start out that way, but I do believe, from my perspective, they were love relationships. And the other ones, were people that these were family member. Like obviously there was love there for years and years and years. And that's what I meant about just not being able to, being able to just cut it off. But I also know when you don't, there's that wonder, there's that checking up. So I was talking to a friend of mine who also was in the same position. Like she thought he was leaving and he didn't. And it's years later, she's very happy. But it's, am I checking on my ex's Facebook, or am I checking out the Instagram, or are we reaching out? Like, are we talking? Are they talking? Like, it's just curiosity, and that pull of how could they have, just walked away. And I don't know how healthy that is. For me, I always find myself getting pulled back in and getting into a bad place. And I've just never been able to cut it 100%. But I think the people that do, maybe that's healthier. I don't know. Maybe them walking away and never checking on you or never talking to you. My ex-husband used to say he couldn't like chit chat with me on text. Like if we would try and talk about things, he wanted to do things through the lawyer all the time because he couldn't just chit chat with me. And in the beginning, I didn't understand that. But I realized that later on, like, it's not that easy, because when you chit chat, like then all of a sudden you kind of fall into those old patterns of joking around or being flirty or being fun or saying the things that they like to hear, whatever. So I don't know, maybe it is healthier. Although, like I said, I come from, my family always had my mom's ex. My mom's ex is the godmother of my children, so it can't be a bad thing for me, like this is someone, and had my mom been like, no, I can't sit at Christmas dinner with that person, my kids wouldn't have her as a grandmother, a godmother. That would suck. Like they love her to death. So, but it's also being strong on the other person. Like my mom's new partner put up with a lot. Like it couldn't have been easy for her. Couldn't have been easy for her to see everybody being so close to that ex. So I get it. You know, is my ex-husband's girlfriend gonna hate me? I don't know. I don't know you, so I don't know. I don't know how you can hate somebody you don't know, but maybe. I don't know. Because I heard, like Danielle said, this woman hates her because she hurt her husband. But it was Danielle's husband at the time. How can you hate her? And if she didn't hurt him, you wouldn't have him. So I don't get that part. But I know it wasn't easy. Like sitting at the Christmas table, sitting at weddings and baptisms and all of those things, I'm sure it wasn't easy for them to always watch each other in the picture. But at the end of the day, people were in love. People found their person. So is that a bad thing? Like to me, that's the greatest gift in life, is to have that person that you are so in love with. Like if you're going to take this journey in life and do all these amazing things, isn't it better to have that person? And this is not going against the girls who want to be single or the guys who want to be single, because yes, that's totally great. But for me personally, when something good happens to me, like that was awesome. Like I couldn't wait to tell my person before. And now it's like, I have nobody to tell when good things happen. So that sucks for me. So yeah, like I think being in love is the greatest gift in life, other than my kids, like obviously. But being in love with someone, having that person have your back no matter what, is unbelievable. And having that feeling, like I loved being in love. I love making somebody smile every day. I like hearing from that person. I like helping them build something, being their cheerleader. I love that. Like that's what I want my job to be. That's part of what this tribe is all about. Like I want to be your cheerleader. If you're going through something, I want to help you through it. I want all of us to help you through. And yeah, if you've got something happening on the horizon, I want us to be there for you, cheering you on, reminding you how great you are, how awesome you are, and that you can do anything. One of my favorite things is, like, obviously, so I play poker, and a lot of my friends who are involved, I love like texting them and reminding them before a tournament or on a day two, like giving them that pep talk. That's like my favorite thing. And I did that. So I had a friend of mine, she was down in Florida, and I made sure, because obviously East Coast and West Coast time, I was like, oh, I have to send this so she sees it as soon as she wakes up. And she texted me the next morning. She's like, you're my favorite human on the planet. You make me feel so good. And I love that. Like, I just want her to have that confidence, because sometimes it's easy for us to kind of get shaken. Like, am I worth it? Am I worthy? Am I good enough? Which goes back to relationships. That's what we should be getting from our partner every day. That you are interesting, you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are all these wonderful things. And when you have that person to kind of lift you up every day, then you do feel invincible. My mom always raised me to believe I could do anything in life, and I've always raised my kids the same way. You can have anything, you can do anything in life. When you have that team behind you, when you have somebody behind you that's like, I believe in you, then you have that confidence and you feel invincible, and then you are invincible. So let's hear more from other people. What else do you guys want to talk about? Any other thoughts from the interview? Did you like it? Did you not like it? How did you feel about him? Are you struggling? Like, are you involved in a relationship? Did someone cheat on you? Anything. Where are we at? I'll have some water. I want to thank all of you for being on, for joining the group, for joining the Vibe Tribe. If you haven't joined the Vibe, I think you're here. Yeah, so the technology gets me. But yeah, thank you for being part of the Vibe Tribe. We are, the point of it is to grow this tribe as much as we can and have these conversations about all different things. In the Vibe Tribe, I want people to post about what's happening in your life so we can start having conversations. If you go to my website, vibingwithlisa.com, you'll see I have other interviews up there. I do some mindset coaching. I do some vibe coaching. If there's something that you want in life, I want to help you get there. So when I first took on my first client, I'll tell you, so in case anybody's interested in coaching, my first client, we sat down and she wanted 3 things. She wanted to be valued at her job. She wanted true love in her life, and she wanted her workflow to be easier. So we started working, and when I said to her, okay, tell me about this person. What's this guy like in your life? And she would just give me little, he looks like he's 6 feet tall. He's this, he's that. I'm like, no. What does he do? How does he make you feel? And we kind of I honed in on very specific things. We even came up with things that he would say or do for her. And I was supposed to work with her for 4 weeks. In 6 weeks, at the end of 6 weeks, she got a $6,000 bonus from her job. And this was during COVID. She met they are still dating, and this is how many months later? So she met this guy when we first talked about him. She was like, I'm not sure he's my type. I'm like, your type doesn't work. That's why we're here talking about it. So that's why we talked about more specific things. And the guy's great. Things are not perfect. No relationship is perfect. But she would tell me things that would happen, and I'd go in my notebook and I'd be like, oh my gosh, remember when we said you wanted him to do this? And he would do that. Or remember, so we were manifesting all of these things. And the other thing was her work life, still not perfect, but she got brand new computers, so the technology is easier. She was able to have some conversations with people that work for her and have conversations with her boss about people being able to do their job more efficiently. So we accomplished what she wanted in 6 weeks of coaching. So I was super happy with that. And that's what I do. My gift, I believe God gives everyone gifts. My gift is really helping you to find out your true joy, your true passion. I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I want a relationship like this, or, oh, I want this guy, or, oh, I want that job, or this is what I want to do. But when we start really honing in on what that means, that's how you get it. Because when we make these generalizations, we can't get you to manifest it. We can't get you to bring it to you because you're not sure what you want. So that's been really exciting. And that's part of this tribe as well. I want to coach more people. I want us to have more conversations. I want to be able to help. And I think all of us being involved is what helps. I think the more supportive your tribe is, the more ears you have, the more experiences you have to deal with. You can get help because somebody else can be like, oh, wait, I've been there. Or, oh, wait, I went through that. Right now, we're working on something for the website that kind of my experiences that can help people. So people that are going, I don't remember if these are going to be the members, maybe next month is the checklist that we're working on. So it's my experiences and something to help people through what they're going through in situations that I've already been. So, which is so bizarre because we started working on this and 2 days later, someone I know is going through that. And I was like, whoa, please just take a minute. These are some things that I went through. So please pay attention. Let me try and help. So yeah, like that's really what this group is about. Us just all helping each other and being each other's cheerleader and having those conversations. So is there anybody else, any questions, any comments about the interview, about life, about the Vibe Tribe, vibing with Lisa, anything? I don't even know how long it's been. What time? What?
Over an hour.
What? Shut up, we've been on for an hour. What? I know how to talk a lot. Lisa is a social butterfly on her report card. And Lisa cannot stop talking. I think no, not that Lisa doesn't shut up, because that one, the teachers probably weren't allowed to say that. Oh, they were though. Debbie, Scott, Jessica, hello. But yeah, so if there's any comments, say them now, because I didn't realize this was going on so long. I think we have to get out of here. But if you want to, can they email me or message me?
Or they can leave messages on
Okay, yeah. So if there's anything, wow, you're so awesome, Els. Yeah, if there's any comments and you just didn't feel like saying it on here, you can message it in the group, or you can, I think, private message me. I don't know. You can DM me, I guess. But yeah, please put it out there. Thank you so much for all chiming in. Kristen, you better be winning. So I thank you so much. We're going to do this again and again and again and again. And let me know what's happening. Mwah. Thank you guys. Have a great night, day, whatever. Mwah. I don't know how to turn this off.